Yeah, Best Supporting Actress. A revoked license. If your license gets revoked, it can never be reinstated. That license can never be reinstated. You would have to get a new license. And guess how you get a new license? You got to start all over again. And you got to wait at least 7 years before you can even ask to start all over again. All right? Do what? You have to ask for the license. You want to hear the big super kick in the ding ding? They can't tell you yes or no until you make application for the license. So you would have to take all the classes, pass the test, get up there, and they go, we remember you. No. Yes, that's a problem. I called the guy that had the cocaine possession. I literally called the state and said, hey, can you give me a ruling on this? And the state's answer was no. We can't tell you until they make application. And they can't make application until they pass the test. And they can't pass the test until they pass the course. I'm like, oh, come on. She's like, that's how the rule goes. Can't preemptively decide, got to make application. So it's this, you got to wait 7 years if your license gets revoked. Then you go back through the process, and they still could say no. Doesn't mean that you jump through all those hoops. You do it. Number 6, Joe, I think this is what I was talking. A license may request to voluntarily return their license to the commission to avoid a hearing only with the written approval of the commission, and cannot while under the investigation of the Attorney General. So you cannot just give your license up. You have to have permission to do that, and they will never do it. Number 7, this is what you are asking. If you receive sanctions, you may be required to reimburse the commission for the cost associated with those sanctions. So if you go to court, the civil court, because they thought you were stealing money, and they, I'm assuming, find you guilty, because, like I said, they're never going to call you in unless there's enough. They may bill you for that extra meeting they had to have. They can't bill you for the court because right to trial is one of your rights, all right? But they had to make copies for everybody. You had to pay the per diem for them to come down. You had to pay the travel mileage, and they hired a private investigator, and they've got a stenographer who they literally still use that comes in there. They hired her. You're paying for it. So not only are they going to hang you with your own license, you're going to pay for the rope. All right? Number 8's one that I laugh at. Sanctions must be applied equally. Like we said earlier, why is there a law written down? Because it's happened. Someone broke it. So to see a law that says sanctions must be applied evenly leads me to believe that they probably were not. It's, you know. Anybody can bring suit, the Attorney General, the Commissioner, County Prosecutor. 10, I told you 10 earlier. No harm has to be done for you actually to violate one of these rules. There doesn't have to be harm done. And if you're found guilty, you have the right to appeal, just like any other court. Are we good on that? All right, number 5, the Real Estate Recovery Fund. There is an outline there with an A, a B, a C that have specific numbers. While the outline is here, I would suggest you read the outline, but let me show you how it works. It's much easier to look at it like this. In the Real Estate Recovery Fund, and I told you earlier that the Real Estate Recovery Fund deals mainly with what people? Clients. This isn't our money. This is earmarked for clients. Now, before the Real Estate Recovery Fund can even kick in, there are 2 things that have to happen. One is, in this particular case, there does have to be harm. There has to be actual damages done to the client. This is not a punitive court case. You know what punitive means? Punishment. This is not a court case because Holly didn't do the right thing and now my feelings are hurt and I want her punished. That's not this. The client has actually been harmed. Typically, they are out money through an embezzlement activity, a fraudulent activity, a theft, one of those. So the client has to be harmed. That's the very first important thing. The client can't say, well, I don't think she did a good job and I didn't get the house I wanted. Now my feelings are hurt. I want her punished. Nope. This is, she stole my earnest money. And that she's not Holly now. This is a generic she. Because Holly would never do that. Raymond would, but Holly would. No. He stole my earnest money. I am harmed. That's the first thing that actually has to happen. The second thing that has to happen before this will even kick in, the person that did the harm actually has to be a licensed real estate agent. If it's a con man posing as a licensed agent and that person didn't check their license and do their due diligence, sorry, once again, not our problem. All right? If they didn't have a license, that's not the Real Estate Commission's problem.
And it would apply to active, unassigned, recovery.
If you have to be licensed at the time and there actually has to be harm. Those are the two most important first things before this even can be considered. Before the Real Estate Recovery Fund even is considered, these two rules had to be met. Had to be harm, and the guy had to be licensed. If either one of those aren't there, then this whole paragraph's out. Embezzlement, actual fraud. All right? The objective of the recovery fund is this. In this recovery fund, we hold $600,000. It is run by the treasurer of the state, just like the state general fund is. But once again, we have the bank book to it. There's $600K in there. If this fund falls below $450,000 because of payouts, guess how they get the $150 back into it? Everybody look around. You're paying it. No, not from the dues. The dues are separate. They will add on top of the dues the money to bring it balanced. We will all cover our brother's assets. Right? So if it goes down to $450,000, it's $150,000 short, you will get a letter from the Real Estate Commission that says, hey, congratulations, pony up $4 to bring that back up to $750,000. We are thy brother's keeper. 600. If it goes below 450, we put money into it to bring it back up to 600. Yeah, it'll earn interest and it'll move, fluctuate. All right? But if it goes down below 450 because of payouts, we will finance it. Every current licensee and every new licensee coming in. Now, the important distinction, and thank you for bringing it up, I want you to understand, it does not come out of the dues. It is addition to the dues. So let's say it's $60 for our dues, and we have to pay $4. We pay $64. We don't pay $60 and $56 goes to dues and $4. No, the amount that we reimburse is above the amount that we would pay for dues because those $60 in dues are already earmarked for the commission to pay and some continuing ed they have and things like that. So it doesn't come out of our dues fund. They add it on top of the dues. It's happened once since I've been in here, and it was like $4. Yeah.
If you have so you're showing a house, take some people in, there's a
Homeowners insurance will cover that. They will try and say it's not. No, it's not this. This is not recovery fund. All right. Now watch this. So 600 is the middle number. If it drops between 450, how much lower than 600 is that? 150,000. Add 150 onto 600, what do you get? If it goes above 750, and it's good because that's the same number either way. Start at 600, it's 450, 150 less. If you start at 600, 150 more, 750. Those are the two numbers. If it goes to more than 750 in there, guess what happens to the money now? No. I love people like that that are so optimistic. We get money back. It diverts over. Somebody's been reading ahead. Yeah. It diverts over into the general fund to pay some of those dues and fees and reimbursements and stuff like that. We don't get money back. All right? So if it goes below 450, we kick money in. If it goes above 750, they still steal our money and put it somewhere else. All right? We don't get money back. Any interest earned from the fund may be used to develop continuing ed, further education, or any other community activities, okay? So they can use that money for just about anything they need to if it goes above that. Now, it's still not as easy as it sounds. For the client to actually get paid out, it is actually the last stop of the choo-choo train. The client actually has to go to court first and win the court case against an agent first. Remember what a judge does? He determines they're guilty. The commission can't pay money out to a person who claims Raymond stole their earnest money until someone says, I'm guilty. Keep that in mind, and that's how you can remember. So if I'm accused of stealing someone's earnest money, they cannot go to the recovery fund and go, hey, give me money. They're going to go, well, he may not be guilty. So they have to go to court first, win the court case. Yes, the judge says Raymond stole the earnest money, and I still refuse to pay the money back. Now they can go to the commission and go, hey, I have got a judgment against one of your guys. He has still failed to pay. Now you need to pony up. And because of that, there are time frames that have to be associated with it. Let's say the day that this happened is called day X. You have got 1 year to file the court case with the real courts. You have to file that court case within a year. And then when you win, you have to make an application to the commission within 2 years of the day it happened. Okay? So if an client's earnest money gets stolen, they have to go to court. They have a year to go to court. Once the judge says yes, they have 2 years from the day it happened to make the application for the real estate commission to give them their money back. Question? They have 1 year to file suit from the time of the violation. Right. They have 1 year to file a suit from the day of the alleged violation, and 2 years to file application to the real estate commission. If they wait too long, they can't do it.
On here it says file court action within 2 years of the alleged act, and then it says claim to the commission within 1 year. The opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I don't know what.
No, you said 1 year to file your action.
So they must file court action within 2 years to win a judgment. So C2 and C3, I will verify because I think that's wrong. I'm going to go with me being right. All right? I will check that and let you know. All right. Tell you what we're going to do. Take a 2-minute brain break to walk around. I'm going to stop the audio file because I want to look at something.